I'm not gonna say it today because somebody's gonna make fun of me. So Donte, get us started. I said it. Damn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a very ongoing debate on right and wrong on the topic we're about to present to you at hand. So, welcome to Fold. And I guess there was no beating around the bush or sugarcoating it. We're just going to jump right into it.
Right or wrong, we already know what the answer is.
We're going to talk about that concert that Travis threw.
Yeah, so most people know now, Travis Scott held a concert in Texas. A concert of 50,000 people, allegedly more because a lot of people actually stormed the booths at security. So we're assuming more, and in that concert, there was a lot of mishap that happened, which led to about approximately now 9 deaths. We got hundreds more injured. We got people still in the hospital, struggling for their lives. And yeah, it wasn't pleasant at all. So we're here today to kind of dissect what happened, figure out really who's to blame, what doesn't matter, to put blame on people, and also see if, how could things be better in the future.
And as of right now, we got Travis and Drake sitting in a hot seat.
Ain't no hot seat. They chilling somewhere in Dave and Buster's or something like that, having the time of their life.
Nah, Travis.
Nah,
you see
them
that
cheeks
apology
is on
video?
fire right now. They
My
in a
man's
hot
forehead
seat,
is
bro.
on fire.
Is it? Because, well, all right, so we do have the apology. I'll put the link in the description, but also play, when I edit the video, I'll also play the apology so people can see. But a lot of people are saying the apology wasn't even sincere.
That is disingenuous.
It didn't sound sincere
There
at
was
all.
actually a video of like a body language interpreter who was trying to break down like where he was pointing out the whole, all right, something not right here. You could tell by the way he's doing this with his hand, the motioning, the him rubbing his forehead. Yeah, there was a lot going on in that video.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. My fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience.
Definitely didn't want to be doing that type of video, of course. I mean, we don't really see Travis exactly publicly speak like that. That's not necessarily his forte. It definitely was more like, you gotta say something. And he was like, man.
You gotta say something to ease the press.
His behavior shows, like, he gotta process the situation his own type of way in general. But definitely he was like, it's a lot for him to take on than he normally has to deal with. And that's clearly evident in his behaviors in terms of how he was going about it in that video. So
wait,
he
hold
had
up.
the main lines he knew that he had to say, but he tried to execute it to the best of his ability, but it didn't look too good.
Yeah, and there was a lot of outside apologies for him. Like Kim Kardashian was like, "Oh, Travis Scott is like sorry," but like we didn't really get
Kim
the
or
point.
Kylie?
Kim Kardashian
Kylie, I
saying
think. Kim too?
Kim,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
That's hilarious.
Wait, hold on.
Well,
See,
what are
we messed
they
up.
saying that he's sorry going to do for the victims though? That's
I mean,
That's true, sorry,
yeah,
no,
he
no.
said his little
not
bits
to
on things he's
disrespect
done.
what
But
they're
then again,
trying
he
to
can't.
do.
All right, before we even get to that, the Travis Scott defender here needs to introduce himself.
Defend.
Yeah. So
everybody's against Travis?
we don't know yet. We're going to say our
against, per
opinions
se.
shortly.
Right.
But
I haven't picked a stance, but it's definitely about who's accountable in terms of the scenario.
All right, well.
Players.
But we do have a new guest to the fold. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jeff. Monica and Brighton. I knew them first.
Yep.
They introduced me to everybody else. Monica's my girlfriend.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
For the world to know. Okay. Declaration right here.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the audience are going to be crying right now.
That's their business.
The 24 subscribers are all like Monica stands. They're like, no.
we just lost like 9 subscribers. One that thought they had hope.
Jeffrey's weeding out
More
the
like 10.
competition. I like that.
11.
Alright, don't gas it.
12.
Oh my gosh.
That's 50%, y'all. Damn, we can't lose that right
Oh, all right, hold on. 24.
You meant to say
subscribe.
25.
Support.
now.
Right.
The Fold podcast is great. Love it. every week or so.
I'm not gonna.
Or so. Definitely tune in.
I'm not gonna hold you. All you had to say was my name is Jeff, and the internet would love that
Hey, man,
because that's a whole meme of itself. They'd be like, "Oh, word, Jeff." I see it.
But the copyright.
But copyright for a meme or a copyright for
My name is
a
copyright.
gift? Come on now.
You're right.
My bad. I'm going slow.
I almost forgot.
I gotta get used to this. Last video we'd even play poker.
Hey man, you
We
said
were
put
just
it on.
chatting.
I would.
We just had the decoration. All right, so
Hit with the top of the morning.
All right, let's ask the question that I think is everybody wants to know or everybody wants to discuss. Who is to blame for what happened?
It's to blame.
Should blame even be placed on one person? Personally, I feel like a blame should go to both Travis and the crew. Because one, definitely was that feeling of the whole situation being underprepared.
Clearly.
And things were bad from the jump.
Yeah,
like
it
I
was-
said, I mentioned earlier, people bum rushing the security booths. They weren't prepared to handle the influx of people,
Nah.
and it definitely seems like it was overcrowded.
Yeah.
Not to mention that one of the crew members in the interview said that he quit before it started because he said that nobody was properly trained. So he didn't want to be a part of that.
Hey, my man was like, I see a disaster.
Yeah.
I'm getting out.
Right? Just if you guys think we're making this up, there's news articles everywhere. CNN, New York Times, CMT.
Yeah, I
they
can
all
definitely
say
put the links.
yeah,
exactly.
it was
So, well, to
chaos
facilitate
ensued
the
from the beginning. So it's like from that point, how come nobody raised flags? Like, maybe this either should be canceled or, cancel, reschedule, come back at a later date with a better equipped team to handle the
Listen,
situation.
I get you when you say that, but you gotta realize. Can I say COVID in this?
Bro, we've been saying COVID.
No. I'm just asking.
sick of you doing that.
I'm just asking because I'm hearing a lot of YouTubers getting demonetized for saying that. But
We get it monetized.
I'm just
Where the
saying.
check at?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
unless
Don't
the
look at-
24 subscribers giving us money, I don't know
Well,
how we get
anyways,
it.
yes. But anyways, back to the topic at hand here.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta see it from the people's perspective. They've been stuck at home due to COVID,
Yes.
not able to do anything. They found if you would call it, their escape to get out the house, do something other than work from home or just go to
Yeah.
work at home and
Man,
can't
they
do
took
nothing.
advantage of a big event,
Yeah.
and then obviously there's a lot of hype built up to the event, so I can understand that obviously it was packed. And then of course, whenever there's these packed type of festivals, there's always extras that's trying to find some way of sneaking in, not to the amount that actually happened. Like that was a severe amount, but that's why it didn't surprise me that it got a bit overcrowded or people were trying to break in. That does happen at big type of events, and Travis has that level of fame to his name at this point in time. So when I heard the amount of players that was involved in terms of the people there, I was like, dang. That's why when they were talking about what happened within the venue and like how the crowds, how it felt like everybody was kind of crushing one another and stuff like that, it was just like, you just imagine how much people was within there. My God.
So here's the interesting thing about this, because I get the whole people angle, which is really interesting to me because it really felt like people was like, oh my God, I get to do something. And then people went buck wild. But there's been many concerts in the past, and I'm going to bring up Michael Jackson's concert, where people were losing their minds. People's fainting left and right. You never heard of a Travis seat this bad.
And way more populated at that.
Also,
Exactly.
social media though, like
Yeah.
there were people recording everything at every spot in the concert. Like you also got to take that into consideration if
Right.
you're going to bring that up.
There was a lot
Because
of
we see the videos of people fainting and being carried out.
Yeah.
But imagine
Yeah,
all the
why
things we
weren't
don't
people-
see in
Okay,
those
true.
things. Like not everybody had a camcorder in their pocket at the time.
Nah.
Yeah,
nah.
you're
So
right.
you got to give that into consideration. Like most of the videos that we've seen have been from cell phones.
Like- Did people
what-
You
die?
can't
Valid
compare
proof?
that to but I'm saying we don't know what was happening at those Michael Jackson concerts. So I'm sure there was worse than what we actually saw.
I don't know.
If
you
people
can't say
died
that.
at
You
those
can't-
Michael Jackson concerts, I'm
Yeah,
sure
but it was
would've
way
been
more
televised.
organized and controlled, and it had a better
Exactly.
structure to the concert.
And if people
There was
died,
way better
it would've
structures to those
100%.
concerts, though.
Were we
Yeah.
there? Can we really speak to that?
We weren't there at Travis Scott's concert.
I
I
mean-
mean, trying to defend him.
That's why we're here. We
I don't
can
think
just-
it's his fault. I don't think I'm not defending him per se, but I don't think it's his fault.
No, it's not completely his fault. If
Like
I was
along
saying
the lines of
anything.
what you were saying about it being COVID and people wanting to get outside, think about all the companies trying to get their bag back.
Yeah, that's
a
that.
year
Yeah.
and a half, 2 years without the bag for
No.
these big corporations.
Yeah, of course.
You think these big corporations care about 9 lives? No. Do you think that those big corporations who are actually in charge of the security, it's not Travis Scott security, it's not Travis Scott gate patroller. It's not Travis Scott gates. Like, I think there's blame to be had, but I don't think there's blame on the performers. Like, he's on stage. He's on, like, have you been on a stage before? Like, you have those lights in your, like, auditorium. You have all those lights in your camera.
Yeah, of course.
You'd be lucky you see past 3 rows. So it's like,
but
I feel the blame should be on, like, the organizers of the festival. Whoever literally ran those logistics could have easily had walkie-talkies, microphone in, like, hey, cut the music. We need to end the show. Really? Like, this man's in the middle of his show. He's probably not looking in the crowd because you can barely see. If you focus on that, you can't do your show. There's people who are in charge of security. There's a head of security there. There's a head of logistics. There's a head of, like, once the medical field got overflown, like, it said, like, there was reports about it being, like, overwhelmed.
Yeah, the people was dancing on top of the EMC carts and all that.
Like,
that was coming into the crowd.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about where the medics were actually set up became overcrowded. So at that point, like, that's not being communicated up the line somewhere. I definitely feel like somebody's culpable somewhere in that communication line. I feel like if any of us were in, like, on the ground level seeing all the things we had to handle, like, if any of us were other people handling all the bodies and seeing, okay, there's no more paces for us to see people, I got to tell somebody to see if there's anything else we could do. Eventually that escalation had to stop somewhere, and it didn't get to the artist, and it didn't stop the show.
Right. I mean,
so I don't think it's Travis's fault, but it's somebody's fault.
Right. My thing is of course, the organizers was obviously a big deal in general. Because I think what's the name of the group? I think it's Live Nation or something like that. One of the organizers of the event. There's been reports that they've had these type of misgivings at previous events, before events that have gotten chaotic, and they've had poor control in terms of manipulating the event. Obviously, Travis doesn't have control over every element, like security or there's different people for different, like, fields. But his main thing as the entertainer is controlling the audience, because we've seen several performers be able to control the audience, so there's safety going on when things go awry, things go crazy. And the thing is too, Travis did see one of the people get carried out. He clearly saw that person was passed out to that degree, and then he had stopped for that instance in order to get that person, you know, for people to focus to get that person help and whatnot. And then after that, he went right back to what he was doing. But you could see there was a lot of these influx of bodies was more to the front, and then obviously you could see the chaos brimming from the front going backwards, because that's where the main pinpoint of the incident was going crazy. And then the thing is, Travis's angle too, he was able to see that one guy get carried out and fainted. He could have seen way more. He's at an angle where he can literally see in general. And then he even has his own, you see in one of the videos, he's able to see the ambulance, so he could have pretty much stopped the crowd to have made them move to get to the ambulance. He had the ability to see the crowd, so there is a role he had to play in there. He could have better executed, but I don't know. I guess he wasn't thinking too straight in that incident.
His execution is him stopping. He could easily said, "Yo, make way for the ambulance. Yeah. Let the people go, or else the whole show is done."
Plenty of entertainers have done it for their
Just cut
events.
the whole show off. If they don't want to cooperate, cut the whole show off. Let the ambulance do what they gotta do, and then that's up to you at the end of the day.
Have you guys been in front of a ring light before?
Yeah.
Yes, it's horrible.
That is blinding. Blinding.
Imagine like 25,000 of those.
Yeah.
In your.
Oh, you're basically blind.
I know the level of blind.
Really,
but he was.
But they wasn't all aimed at him per se.
But Travis stage at the end of the show.
Yeah,
and it's also nighttime.
No. I don't mean like not aimed at him. Obviously, it's gonna light up the stage. Yeah. It's going to light up the stage.
He did see that body move.
He can
so
see.
It's like he was able to see a good amount, and he
how
also
much and how clearly though.
I would say
I had a bunch of people. Like, we already understand that the crowd was being negligent to their fellow crowd members.
Yeah, that's
so
also
if you just see people jumping and jumping, you're not even going to see the people that are below the people being trampled.
Right.
You're just going to see the people jumping. Like, I heard one story about some girl who was, like, rather small in stature, and she was just saying how when she jumped, she didn't get back to the ground. She was she was wiggling through people's elbows before her feet touched the ground again. Yeah, so it's like, I don't feel like, how can you really understand? Like, we're assuming a lot saying that he could see so much.
Well, when
you do see something, you do say something.
Yeah.
I would say at least the first 5 rows he could see.
It does seem that happened. It does seem
he saw the kid who ended up dead get his body, like, carried by the audience towards the ambulance.
But how did you saw that?
Because he's the one who told them to make space for the kid to get past.
Was it for the kid?
I think he was singing to one of the bodies too.
It was that kid.
That was one incident though.
Yeah, that was one incident. There was many people.
Yeah, but he did see somebody.
People like
I don't think he saw the
people
trampling,
who died.
but
Like, there's so much. How much could you really expect the artist who's there to do his show to do?
Mentally, he already noted that there's somebody who fainted to an extreme condition because he's the one who assisted in aiding that kid to get towards the ambulance in general because he saw it. So the fact that he was able to see that kid towards the front, there's other people who also fainted towards the front as well. I'm just saying there's a video proving that he was able to see to a degree already. So, and then his reactions to what was going on, because he sees the ambulance, he has a shocked face at how chaotic things are becoming. So his expression already showed he sees more than you might think. Obviously, there's the lighting too, but his angle, in terms of the bird's eye view, he was able to see more than you think he could. But the thing is too, as a performer,
it wasn't really a bird though. He was like maybe 10 feet above.
Well,
the people.
he does, but
he
the elevated platform is able to see.
Back.
Yeah.
Considering the lights, you could see 5 rows back.
Yeah, but he saw.
I feel like most of the trampling were the people in the back pushing forward and compressing everything.
Because it came.
So it wasn't necessarily the people
up
front, because those people up front would have been like I've been going to festivals since like 2015 was my first festival, and I go to them every year before the pandemic. So like I completely I was shaken by this whole event. Like that Saturday this news came out, I was shook. This could have been me, any of my friends. Like I went to the first Astroworld. Like I was like I've been like I do. So this.
You know the energy.
I do this. I know. Like I've been. My first Travis show was like 2014, and it was in Webster Hall, and that was a circuit. I thought the floor was about to break in on the second floor of Webster Hall. So like. Assuming like these shows are normally like this, so I'm sure like seeing people pass out isn't nothing new. So him stopping it when he sees it, I'm sure is normal practice for him. But assuming that he saw everything going on in the crowd is assuming a lot. And that's why I feel like it's on the people who are actually running the show. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the video. There was somebody who ran up on a camera crew person trying to explain the situation.
Yeah, we saw that.
That's really bothered me.
And that person just, like, shoved her off. And, like,
but, like,
did he tell anybody? Like, was that, like, he had to have a walkie-talkie. He had to have somebody who could communicate with.
I would say that bothers me, though, because, like, that girl specifically was, like, someone is in there dying, like, to the camera person. And I wonder if it's that the camera person truly didn't care. Yeah, like, is it that the camera person truly didn't care, or is it that there's some type of hierarchy stemming from Travis or stemming from whoever, where the camera person felt like they couldn't stop the show or they would be in trouble?
That's more on the organizer. The cameraman doesn't have that type of.
Yeah, the cameraman, he doesn't have that,
but he could have alerted somebody. That's the thing there. So it was more or less like he already got the setup where he has to stay on this camera. So he already had that executive decision made. But you know, if the cameraman said F that and had decided to say something, then it could have saved more people.
He could have, but like we don't know what type of systems. Yeah, but like we don't know what type of systems are in place that was preventing that cameraman from saying anything.
But I'm pretty sure they was just like focus on the show.
Jake One, you remember how we was talking about before we came here?
Yeah.
You gotta blame if you getting people that's coming breaking the barrier, going onto the stage to go and tell someone that people are dying in the crowd.
Yeah.
You gotta realize.
I know how I am. I would have been like, hold on. I would have said something, but this guy in this instance specifically, he just stuck to what he was told to do. So he ignored them and kept going with what he was doing. Because the thing is, too, from his perspective, he could be like, this could just be some random drunk girl who's raving.
There could be that, too.
That's literally what he could be thinking. Like, they was like, ignore whatever the crowd
but
says,
at the same time, a drunk girl in her right mind is not going to be able to properly climb up to a stage through a crowd raving like that, be able to get to somebody, fully alert you that somebody's dying and there's people getting injured going on, and make several attempts to get... You're not going to say that's a random drunk girl in your head. That's not realistic.
Listen.
That's not realistic. These things ever like that's why I feel like it's on the organizer's point. Like, I don't feel like Travis on stage in the middle of a concert, somebody could have easily cut the music and then shut the concert down. The people who were behind stage could have done that.
Oh, nah.
There's definitely a point in communication that didn't reach to Travis, I feel. There's somebody culpable. Like, what are the festival organizers? I feel like it's somebody who was like maybe Live Nation, somebody from Live Nation, maybe somebody who was an executive and whatever the like.
Wouldn't his manager be there with him?
Somewhere in the back.
Who didn't tell him? Who didn't tell him to shut the show down? Who didn't cut the music themselves? Who didn't talk to the DJ? I feel like if you're already on the stage, somebody has to do that for you. You're not going to be in a position to actually be able to run the festival and perform at the festival in the same time.
But like, why didn't they
performers
do that?
That's
like,
the problem.
Is it because of Travis? Like, is it Travis? Like, yo, we not shutting this show down for anything. Like, I don't care what police have to say. I don't care what anybody has to say.
That's
and like, instill the fear.
Anybody,
like, I'm not saying that. I'm just asking. Like, why is it that everybody else felt they couldn't say anything when people are telling them people are dying? Like. Any normal person
like,
would
they
be
didn't
like, yo,
get to,
shut this down.
I mean, obviously, the people who was able to get to the cameraman, obviously, they couldn't get to Travis because that stage was...
We have people dancing on top of the paramedic trucks and all that coming through. That wasn't a concert full of normal people. That's what I did.
You see, if somebody's dancing on top of the ambulance and all that, that in my opinion, that is just straight disrespect.
You see, the ambulance is there for a reason. You thought that's part of the performance?
I feel like that is utter disrespect at the end of the day.
Nah, yeah, there was a lot of fan disrespect also. Like at the end of the day, how you stomping on somebody? Like that's not ground. You've been on ground all day.
Yeah, 9-year-olds in a coma. Yeah, like I said, we have 9-year-olds in a coma in critical condition right now because of that concert.
That reminds me of that one year for Black Friday where this old lady was waiting in line. The store opened, the crowd behind her just trampled her.
Yep.
I don't remember if she died or not. But
she probably did.
It's like when people are in that, how you say, a mood,
that frenzy state.
They don't care.
They're in a frenzy state. Like I said, there's an energy and a tempo to Travis's events.
And wasn't there a point where everybody was chanting "Stop the show"?
But that too, I'm like, from Travis's perspective, like if he hear everybody chanting, like he probably didn't hear it stop the show.
No,
like,
he probably didn't
cheering for him.
I'm pretty sure he didn't hear it because obviously he's singing his song. He's got the audio coming through.
He's like, that's hyping me up.
The main thing Travis had was visual. So, and he knew that somebody had passed out close to the front and got carried off. He didn't know the condition of whatever happened with that boy. But he did see that.
And along those lines, like, being at a Travis show, like at that video we saw where he's like, whoa, whoa, stop the show. Like, he does interludes in between his different, like, his little, like, slow on, like, scissor or whatever's music, and then his, like, turned up, go crazy music. He does these little, like, interlude type stuff. So it seemed like he was in the middle of that, and he saw that.
Yeah.
And all the videos of, like, people, like, really dying that came out first was when Drake was out there. And if you think about a show, you're going to bring Drake out towards the end.
Yeah.
So if you also think about that part, he's probably, like...
Yeah, Drake
out of it, like, just as a human, his energy, like, to give energy to the crowd that he gives, he's obviously putting out a lot of energy himself. Drake is out there, that's probably the last person he's bringing out at the show. It's probably the last 2-3 songs. So
was Drake at the end or I thought he opened?
I'm not sure.
Travis Scott was the headliner of the whole day, so the whole festival was all at one stage now.
Yeah,
usually
most of
at
the
festival,
videos
there's 2 to 3 stages where there's crowds are dispersed. But with his festival, he's the only show when it begins. So it's everybody coming because it's Astroworld. It's Travis's show.
Okay, gotcha.
So everybody congregates to this festival, like to this one stage.
Right.
So that part makes sense. But then if you think about when you're bringing out guests, like think about all the people Travis has songs with. Drake is one of the biggest people there.
Yeah, sicko mode.
Exactly. So that's gonna be the last song he's gonna perform.
So it's like if Drake came out initially with Travis, then obviously you have both men who would have probably seen.
No, but not even saying. I'm saying like it's towards the end of the show. So even all these people who might say something, they might just be thinking in themselves like, this show's about to end. Hopefully this isn't as crazy as it seems.
Right.
Let's just get done with it.
Yeah, because the voices of the people just got the whole crowd just destroyed everything.
Yeah, like so it's mayhem.
It just became mayhem there. But it's not like there's certain aspects here because they're trying to. Well, there's angles that they try to grab in terms of Travis having like pushed the narrative of having this high octane energy at his events. But that's kind of his style. That's kind of his way of going about it. And then it's been in his music before that, the higher energy aspect. So he expects this level of energy to happen from the audience, not to a chaotic extent where people gonna die, but of course the crowd being amped up, the crowd being energized, because that's how he goes. That's how his momentum is. So seeing people faint wouldn't be a new thing for him in that general. But obviously, I'm pretty sure he didn't know how ridiculously unorganized the event got. How dehydrated people got, how they started crushing on each other. Like, I'm pretty sure he know that people would sneak in or come into the event, because it's not like he's dismissive of people doing that. But the amount of people that did it, he had no idea to what degree that would happen. Even the staffers, they had no idea how much people got in. Like, we still don't even necessarily know how much people got in. It was just ridiculous.
All right, so let me just say real quick. First of all, Jeffrey, see you next week, because look, this passion is unbelievable. Look, we did research, but Jeffrey came here prepared. Like, he had no idea he was even coming to this. All of a sudden, he's like, you got most of the content of this video. So, yeah, we gonna see you next week. Anyways, why can't we spread the blame out? Why we know, okay, even if you want to say he had no idea because the performance, the lights, everything blocked him out from understanding what was happening within the crowd, there's still plenty of accounts of people saying they were trying to notify him.
Yep.
And he didn't stop.
No.
There was plenty of accounts saying security was unprepared.
Yep.
And they didn't stop the show.
Fire department came in and said it too.
Listen, the way how I see it, it's like how most jobs fail is the whole term of communication.
Clearly.
Communication was probably lost at one point or another. Like, it's going from this person to that person. This person goes back to that person, doesn't know. So it's like, and most of the time it's like, if you're trying to get, like, let's say you're trying to get to your boss, you basically got to go through the chain of command. Like, you go to your manager, you go to, like, your manager got to have his own boss, and that boss got to go up to the hierarchy.
But that leads me to my next question then. If we got the fire department, we got the ambulance, we got the executive of, like, who was in charge of running the show, the camera crew, the crowd itself, trying to reach everybody. If all these people are trying to come together to warn everybody else about
we don't know about all the people behind the back.
Hold on. I'm saying because of the news reports that I watched where they was doing interviews with the people who said them and other people gathered around, the camera crews and everybody who said that they was part of it, who was interviewing and saying that they was trying so hard to get everybody else notified that none of this was able to get to the stage. That's not making sense to me. There was an executive of the fire department who was saying it. There was someone else who was talking about an interview where they interviewed a guy who was with his girlfriend and their best friend died because they didn't make it. They were the same couple that went on the stage and tried to tell the cameraman who fanned them off. The chief of security had to tell them to go to the front with the barricades and they had to bind up the gate because everybody was pushing them so hard they would have fell through the gate if they didn't bind it. All these things going on, but none of them could get to the stage to tell Trap. Something's not adding up to me about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, as you saw,
that's too many groups.
It doesn't even seem like they were able to get through.
That's too many groups. We're not one. Like all of them got access to Travis.
It's like everybody failed. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and that's my thing. It's like, why did they fail? Like, if something really, like, if Travis was in danger, Travis would have known about it. But like, all these people were in danger. So like, why was that a lapse in communication? Like, was it that they were like, yo, we not stopping the show for anything? Like, what? Like, just I don't understand like why that didn't get to Travis.
Because
or if it did get to Travis, like, why he didn't do anything about
just
it?
like Jeff's point earlier, not to cut you off, Brighton, in terms of the amount of money that the group was trying to make, in terms of the organizers, right? They were prepared to make this go off even if it got too bad. Obviously, I don't think they knew how bad it got, but they knew it was like bad. But it was like, they probably just let it slide. But then when they learned what happened afterwards, I was like,
so what are you thinking?
And then everybody's saying stuff to make sure they're not culpable.
Exactly.
So everybody's gonna say, nah, I did everything I could. Like
every festival,
the cameraman probably said, I did everything I could to try to communicate after that girl.
Right.
So basically,
the footage say different though.
Basically, when you see it, right, Jaquan? Yeah. I'm not trying to cut everybody off here. So basically, like, let's say the big guys who's basically in charge of the whole event, they shut it down. You think they'll be like, oh shoot, we got to refund how much thousands of people?
They have to anyway. They already screwed up.
They don't necessarily
have to.
There's concerts that when you buy it, there's like in the terms and agreements, there's like a act of God clause. Yeah. They're like when the pandemic first started, everybody who wanted to go to festivals then, a lot of festivals didn't give refunds because there's act of God clauses where it's like no matter what, you're not getting your money back. It's slow for you. Yeah. Like, you pay, it's ours. Like,
but
it's done.
Because there's casualties and people lost, they was like, nah, they got to give that money back. That's game. So they done lost money foolishly.
And now they getting sued. Yeah. So they losing more money.
So they really are trying to give back to people their money.
That's what everything getting sued, yeah. Travis getting sued, Drake getting sued.
Because it was supposed to be more days of the festival. You win, you gotta. I think if you had other days going, then you get your money back.
Oh, okay.
All right, so again, I don't know why we can't just spread the blame, but we're not. Okay, let's move on to.
No, I feel like it should get spread. It's not only on that one person.
Of course, that's why Live Nation is getting examined, and then we're learning about prior festivals where they fumbled the bag hard body. Besides this one, right? Future festivals are getting affected because of this, so their stupid ass mistake is just gonna cause issues with future festivals. This temporary gain they sought here just caused nothing but future chaos for future festivals. So it's an idiotic move.
But yeah, so again, that's my thing. There was people, there was the staff, and then Travis. And I think everything, what some people said, it was a perfect storm. I think everything did come together to really make that
to create
event
a disaster,
chaotic as it was. Now, let's go on the other side of things. We were talking logically, but there was lots of speculation on it being a demonic ritual.
I
heard about that one.
What do you guys think about that? Like,
I don't care much for the hysteria.
First of all,
conspiracy.
I mean, the stage did kind of look like a cross. I'm not going to front.
Look,
or like burning some dove.
Why was the theme see you on the other side?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that he's saying it is.
But I mean, obviously, you know, he had that big old fat like Astroworld head, and then it's like,
yeah, why is it called Astroworld?
No,
see you on the other side, Astro
like
project to the other side. I don't know.
Maybe
I'm wild.
The thing about it is that
Astroworld is literally Six Flags in Texas.
I know. I just want to
the festival happens where the Six Flags was shut, like taken down at. Like that's the grounds where the festival at is where it's like Six Flags Astro.
Yeah, I remember.
Everything in Houston is Astro because of NASA. So like Astro's there, but granted, his whole marketing
his marketing
doesn't help him at all.
Nah, that's what I'm saying.
Like I got mad Travis Scott t-shirts and stuff with skulls all over it. Like it doesn't burning skulls. Like my family asked me, "What are you wearing right now?" Like, it doesn't help his case at all.
And we could like put the
basically
link to
a flaming skull.
Literally.
Wait, what, Monica?
We could put the link to this in the thing, but I did see where like this head, this open mouth or whatever that like people walk into to get into the festival.
Yeah, the Travis
It's like
Scott
the
head.
symbol is like some like
from
mythology
from
of like
what
some
I've
children
been
eating monster or something, and like he posted something like, "Yo, we about to feast," and like blah blah blah, and like there's some connections. I'm like, a lot of this is really demonic.
That's how that
hold,
down.
one second. When you look at it, from what I've been told with that head is, I do not remember the demon. It's the demon's name itself. It is basically a demon that is basically, how do you say, his stomach is a bottomless pit.
Abaddon.
All he does,
Abaddon.
yes, and all he does is just eat humans.
Abaddon is
he just keeps on eating.
Like the mosh pits was eating these humans.
That's what I'm
dropping
saying.
into these holes at the festival. Like
Abaddon's desire is insatiable. He's literally the existence of gluttony manifested. So in essence, that's what it's saying. It's just gonna keep devouring souls. Is what it does.
Yeah,
that's what he's referring to.
So it started out sus.
I mean, like I said, Travis's advertising has always been a bit more on the darker, edgier side because that's how he operates. But when people start dying, and then that's always been your image, everybody's about to be the first to point at you and be like, "Nah, dog, I rebuke that."
I feel like the people who
that's what be happening.
Who wouldn't question that is because it are the fans that have been with him from the beginning, and it's they know how his type of how this person is. And when you get to a point of it, and it probably wouldn't care as much.
My bad, Malik. We over here slapping chips.
No.
Yeah, we do.
Wait.
I don't know what y'all talking about. Why we gotta stop? Anyways.
Yo, bro, let me see your cards.
Yeah, I'm with Donte on this. I'm not really giving. I'm sorry, not Donte. Jaquan. Get into the hysteria of all this.
No.
Yeah, I think
just focused on the event.
that's
a different story. Well, a different topic. How do you say?
Like
but I can see why. Like Jeffrey said, the way he brands himself doesn't defend it.
Did y'all ever see his Netflix special? Like, Look Mama I Can Fly. It's literally like basically like the backstage footage of all his concerts, and it's literally just like all of the mayhem behind it. All of his marketing doesn't help him at all.
Nah.
Yo, Jeffrey really fact checking us out here.
Nah, that's just knowing stuff. Like I'm a Travis Scott fan. Like I'm a legit fan who likes festivals.
But you see, in terms of his execution right now, he got to step it up if he wants to get this flack off of him.
I don't think it's going anywhere until these cases, until these lawsuits.
Because he's gotten the lawsuits, the apologies gotten slammed.
The apology was nasty.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good on his end. And then it's also how much effort he provides to the people who went to the event and whatnot in order to aid in terms of the situation that went down. How best he can help people.
I mean, he said he would pay, but that doesn't really do anything, really. And
I think
dead bodies in your family.
I mean, aid. He should aid in the funeral expenses and whatnot. I mean, his event went crazy, but of course, the organizers and whatnot, they do have a role to play in it as well. It shouldn't all be on Travis, but he definitely has aspects of a role to play in it.
Yeah, I think we could spread the blame like as much as we want, but people died, including children, and we gotta like just be respectful of that. Like whoever's fault it is, people died, and like whatever the outcome is not going to bring back those people.
No, and that's the sad part. Like one of the saddest cases is the eldest person we know who died was a 27-year-old, and he died trying to save his fiance.
Mm-hmm.
She got injured and bruised, and so did his brother, but he ended up getting trampled and didn't survive his injuries. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, this is sad to hear exactly what happened. And then like one of the youngest reported deaths was the 14-year-old, and then Donte reported the 9-year-old kid who ended up in a coma because his dad was carrying him on his shoulders, and then
his dad passed out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that was his granddad, actually.
Yeah,
I was talking
it was
to my
either his
friend
dad
about
or
it.
he ended up falling and he got trampled on, so he ended up in a coma type situation. And then the latest person who just passed was in critical condition this whole time on a ventilator, apparently. When I just saw the article real quick about it, so I was just like, dang. So I don't know exactly how many more casualties and things like that, but the more and more issue here, because so much victims have been reporting their angle and what they saw. Like when we were talking about the whole like demonic aspect, they was just like, it felt like you were basically in a sea, like an inferno, because it was hot in there. Everybody was dehydrated, passing out. That's why there's all this hell representation that they keep saying in terms of the hysteria aspect of it. But then you also learn the pressure of how powerful is a crowd when they all move in one direction. You cannot push that force back. It's impossible. It doesn't matter how strong you are. You can literally be the strongest man on the planet. You can't push that crowd back. You're gone.
What were these holes though? Because I've been reading stuff about people saying like it was like a sea of people falling into holes and like they felt.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see much of the whole aspect, but I definitely saw
yeah, I don't know about
either
that.
people piling up on each other or what's the word? Crowd surfing also. And then that's how they started falling.
Yeah, it's crowd surfing, people piling up, people bunched together and compressed in with each other.
Yeah.
And there was people who got trampled. That's what I know. I don't know about no holes though.
Yeah, like the holes. But in terms of that, just how glued together the crowd got, it was just nasty.
So, and Jeffrey, I want you to speak on this because you know it sounds like you at least at one point went to concerts regularly. How does this make you feel about concerts going forward?
Oh man, terrifying, man.
Yeah.
It's irregular. And then it's even weird for like artists. You saw like Tiana Taylor had a concert and somebody like
oh yeah, she jumped on that.
And she was
fast.
like, "Yo, security, grab this person, get them out of there." Because it just makes like the artist now feel super culpable. So I just feel like
now just imagine like the higher level.
It's not gonna make the show as enjoyable if the artist is gonna be just babysitting everybody.
Right.
So like I don't know, like
I definitely
besides that part of it, it's just unfortunate situation, but it's also like you should know what this show is to a certain extent. Like Travis shows, I usually hang towards the back because like I don't got the energy to be fighting people to enjoy music. Like I just want
exactly.
To chill.
You came for the vibes and the energy. I feel with that.
If I gotta fight someone to enjoy music, I'm better off just staying home.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I'll watch the stream
or just sit in my car and listen to the music.
Exactly. So like I it's too physical for me to like be in all of that. So like I know me personally, I wouldn't even be in that. Like I wouldn't be that deep in the crowd because it's like. I don't like people touching me like all that much anyway.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, into Texas, it's probably a little bit hot during the day. People all sweaty.
Oh
all
yeah,
on
Houston,
you, like,
you know it's hot.
I wouldn't be feeling.
That's why when they said blazing hell, I was like, I ain't even going. You can tell.
But like overall, it's like I don't think I'm gonna stop going to concerts. I'm gonna be more cautious about stuff because you know it can clearly get super real, especially knowing the type of show. I was talking to one of my friends about it. I think I might just be doing my R&B concerts for a little bit. Instead of doing these like turned up stuff, just more casual live music.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm still just wondering why this never happened at like a much bigger artist than Travis Scott. Like you mentioned Michael Jackson. Like this never happened Michael Jackson. Never happened Bob Marley.
As far as we know.
People pass out all the time. We would have known if people were dying at like these concerts.
Well, yeah, and I agree. If it got to that extent.
But when you look at it, don't you think those artists, they would have a bigger venue?
I think they would have a bigger venue, and I think they would be responsive. Like I think their teams would let them know if something was going on, and they would be responsive to it.
Nice catch.
But it's just wild to me that like it's Travis Scott. Like who is Travis Scott? Like in the grand scheme of things, like this never happened at way bigger people than Travis Scott's concerts. But like I just don't get
like how we mentioned Michael Jackson earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't do math. Anyways.
Wow. That's amazing.
We always talking about. So now we're talking about who's to blame, but what the cause of all this really is people acting up, acting crazy. Like let's not forget this.
Yeah, match.
I don't know whether this is true or not, but there was people going around injecting other people with drugs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like there is a report of a security guard who apparently got injected with a syringe and passed out. Like I said, we're gonna keep getting more information as the case develops. Clearly, so over the next 2 weeks is when you're gonna get more concrete stuff. Hopefully, the number of casualties don't increase. Sadly, another person died, so it's just like, dang, that's the scary thing with critical condition situations. So it's just like, what's ultimately gonna play out from here?
Yeah, all I want to say is thanks to the people that actually, try to help out, try to help the medical staff, try to help security. there's always good Samaritans amongst the crazy bunch.
Mm-hmm.
I really think they did help to make things better for the people there.
Imagine that staff better get paid.
Anybody got any final thoughts? We heard the Travis Scott defenders, but no, really though, I really like how you were unbiased with things. You know, you acknowledged the apology and everything, and you kept it straight and narrow.
Nah, yeah, it's real.
Really,
I don't think it would be any performer's fault, whether it's Travis Scott or somebody I didn't. I don't think it's the performer's fault.
But
for
you
the
could see
show going awry.
Right. That's my whole thing. The energy, I could expect it from the show. The amount of people that came in, he did say, hey, you could come and storm in if you want to, because that's how he operates, right? The amount of people, he had no idea that was going to happen, right? And then how the event played out, obviously he had no idea that's how
he probably just didn't realize the amount of influence he has.
It's not even that, Malik. He had expectations of the other people to execute properly.
Are you telling me if the sheriff pulled up on stage and said we're shutting down the show wouldn't have stopped?
I don't think so. I feel like everybody.
If the sheriff would have had everybody there arrested, then you know how many policemen were there? They would have just had everybody arrested and stopped the show then manually. Like if they really wanted to, they could have stopped the show. But that's Houston tax money. Look, all the people coming to Houston, like the city of Houston's got. Travis just opened up some like some charity thing or some like give back to this like Astroworld. The city of Houston goes stupid. Like they look at him as like a golden child for some reason.
Let alone if
he's giving back a lot. So I think there's a lot of people who are just looking at the bag for this and just bypassing, like greed overtook it all.
Yeah.
Well,
the way how you see it is that you get people traveling to go to this concert.
Yeah,
the people who are going to be making money currently in that retrospect, you get hotels.
I mean, that's every concert. Though.
Yeah, like I said, Malik, we know everybody.
Restaurants. It's going to bring a lot of tourism to the area also.
If the sheriff wanted to shut that down, they could have shut that down. Like it's like if they would have pulled up on stage and arrested Travis in the middle of the show.
Like I said,
it would have shut down.
The stampeding crowd, though,
it would have gotten that, but I feel like there would have been people to rebel saying, "Why are you arresting him? What did he do?"
Right. Like I said, the issue is that stampeding crowd, they didn't have the manpower to handle that. You can't handle a stampede of people. It's just there ain't enough force to handle.
That's the one thing I
tear gas
Travis for is the like understaffing of things.
Yeah, I don't know how that even played out that way. That's the thing we got to figure out in terms of that angle. Why was it so understaffed for such a big event?
But that's also who's in charge of logistics.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Like that's why I feel like it's whoever's in. Like,
also, what kind of security are they running where people are getting in with syringes?
Right.
Like I said, we don't know much about that angle.
Remember, they bum rushed security at the beginning, so
that's what I'm saying. Security
they could have shut the show down then.
Exactly.
If they really wanted to, they could have shut it down in the afternoon.
Whoever ran in when the gate broke down could have ran in there with anything. So
guns. Thankfully, it wasn't firearms that became a situation.
They probably did have firearms. They just didn't light them off.
Nah, man. Trust me, it would have
had firearms. It's Texas. Like,
exactly.
It's an open carry state.
But that's the whole thing. That's why it's like, what was this whole random case with the syringe thing? But if somebody's going to fire firearms, it would have happened. We would have heard it. We would have all known.
Listen, it would have been more than 8 to 9 people dead.
Because trust me, if people are seeing a crowd of people stampeding and you have a firearm, you know what I'm saying? You might get hysterical and have fired it to save yourself in the scenario.
I hate to always bring in race, y'all, but
don't.
As we've seen, but as we've seen,
the fact y'all said it together.
This crowd,
everybody's opinion.
But this crowd of 50,000 people was mostly white. And we have seen much smaller things with mostly black people get shut down much quicker than this got shut down to the extent that it was.
Travis is a black lead, so it's just like, I don't know. I didn't necessarily see the whole demographic because it was so much groups of people that were there. There was Hispanics, there was blacks, there was whites. It was a pretty diverse.
I was gonna say it's mostly white because these rap concerts be expensive as hell.
Yeah,
for sure.
But like I said, because remember we had
trying to shut down the Labor Day parade on Eastern Parkway.
Oh my goodness!
With much less going on.
They better not shut it down next year.
Man, nobody care about your Labor Day parade. All right, we talking about
what?
Yo,
wait,
hold on.
Hold on.
We're not. No.
Stay on topic.
We're not about that. What I was gonna ask is, since we're talking about
disrespecting Labor Day, how dare you?
I'm about to set another round because y'all still talking. So.
All right, so check this out, right? Since we're talking about the demographic here now, right? Since most of the crowd was white, why was it still so chaotic when it came to how the event was going on? If most of the crowd was white, no, hold on. Usually when it comes to that demographic, right, they always make sure everything's in order to make sure the least amount of people get hurt, right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Usually,
after these football games, when white people are upset because they're
I'm not using stereotypes for an argument.
All these things. Like, I wouldn't say white events are calm and peaceful, and black events are not.
The events,
but I would say police have execute less force at white predominant events than they do at black events.
Look,
and I think that if it was
we could pull up statistics. Statistics for that.
If the major demographic was black at this event, despite it taking 9 people to die, the smallest thing, it would have been shut down.
Because the thing is, they didn't even know who was even dying in the first place. All they knew was people getting trampled.
I don't think it mattered who was dying.
It was just about everybody was getting
the demographic.
The commotion, the commotion they let go on. In general,
the crowd is brought together by the artist. Travis is a high energy artist, so it's going to be high energy people who's going to get drunk and high because that's what he facilitates in his music. Those are the type of people that's going to come to the event, and that's all races. It doesn't matter if it's predominantly white.
Right. It's not
everybody has a different audience based on the artist.
Here's the thing, right? Because it's not just about who likes this artist. It's about who was there at the time.
No, but I'm saying the crowd is pulled in by the type of artist.
But
but that's not the conversation right now.
Because we also don't know about who even stampeded in. Because then if it was, this is a rich event.
I mean, I believe there's a video of that too.
Yeah, so if we saw the stampede, it was predominantly black. Now I'll be looking at you like, well,
I'm believing what Jeff and Monica said. They said
when you realize,
Malik, let me finish. If they said the majority of people there, the demographic was white people, I don't believe that. We'll fact check. I'll put any corrections in the editing.
Look at the demographic.
The people who died have been white and Hispanic. Yeah, that's what we've seen.
Texas.
Yeah.
Listen, when you look at it, they could easily shut down the event when those people started stampeding inside.
Yeah, but the thing is, in terms of stopping the event, yes, they could have stopped the event, but stopping the people, different scenario. You know how hard it is to stop a stampede?
That's another point.
You can stop. The
event could have stopped to try to mitigate the damage.
Yeah, but then the people would have went crazy because the event stopped.
It would have been.
They would have went crazy.
That was brought up too.
Hold on. Now
it's basically a double-edged sword.
All right. Yeah, but let me chime in now. The reason why the people would have went crazier, they already was willing to break through the gate just to get there. Yeah. So stopping the event when they got there, they would have been pissed off because I didn't just do all this for nothing. Now they're gonna rave. Now they're gonna bug out. Now they're probably gonna fight. Now they're probably gonna be hostile towards the stage. You was gonna get all that if you would have stopped the event right then and there. So even then, that wouldn't have even been the best case scenario. That would have made a bigger problem. Now you got people getting trampled. You got people getting stampede. You got the crowd rioting even more. And what's Travis supposed to do? Just stop it right then and there? Nah, because now you're gonna get that amplified.
But the thing is, by stopping the event, then you're gonna have the individuals to try to alleviate or break up the scenario to come in faster.
That's what
but if everybody's stampeding, which was happening, and he's still performing, that's not helping the situation.
Yeah, but that's also the point that I'm getting at. If the people who's supposed to break it up and stop it come in while everybody's riding and going crazy like that, that's now the whole public.
It's not gonna.
Yeah, that's public protection versus rioting people.
Those people get mad aggy and then go even wilder.
That's what happens when you stop any event.
Let's get away from the fact because we already discussed blame.
Yeah.
Now we're discussing about stopping it. You're right. There was accounts of police saying if they had stopped the event, things might have gotten worse, and then more people would have died. So I do hear you, but you said in the beginning. I believe if they had clipped it in the beginning, it would not have reached that point of no return.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but we was also talking about Travis' voice as his influence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's stay away from that.
Forget Travis.
Because we talked about that already.
No, I'm not. Hold on. I'm talking about what I said. I'm not trying to bring that back. You brought up what I said. I'm telling you the rest of what I said with it. That's it.
I'm just saying, let's just focus on the people bum rushing in.
Right. Now focus on the people bum rushing in.
If that was clipped from the jump, it would have not gotten to that point.
Correct.
I mean, the energies had already built up to it.
Yeah, people were already in their mosh pits.
Events are an energy.
It was already loud. People were like,
there's energy in anything.
Whatever they were
half the people didn't even know that there was a section of people dying, fainting, and all that. Like some people were enjoying the concert all the way through.
Nope, didn't even know.
That's what I'm saying. Once they reached that point, there really was no return.
Like, you know how sad that is? You just dancing, then you look at somebody just laid out, gone.
Yeah.
My thing is, when you look at the response to different events, like when you look at the police response to these Black Lives Matter protests, they didn't care who was going to get upset. They didn't care who was going to get aggy, whatever. They had the tear gas. They had everything. Yet these white people are storming in the White House, and nobody's doing tear gas. Nobody's doing any of this. These white people are storming to dance, to hear music, and nobody's doing anything.
Depends on the state.
So if it wanted to be stopped, they could have stopped it. Yeah. But I personally feel like the demographic played a role. Because I'm not saying any one demographic was being more rowdy than the other. I'm talking about the ability to stop it and the willingness to stop it. I feel like was influenced by the demographic. Because if it was a predominantly black audience, it would have been stopped from the get-go, from as soon as the people started bum rushing and before the concert even started.
Like I said, it does depend on the state as well. Different states, different laws, different law enforcement in general. That's why it's just hard to gauge White House versus Texas. Texas is designed completely differently.
So, there's validity to what you're saying, I'd say.
Yeah.
That definitely played a role. Again, the perfect storm really came together to make this as chaotic as it was. Simple as that. And just hope in the future, they learn how to manage concerts better.
And look, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but what I am saying too, going back on your point, is if I'm thinking like that, based on the way my group is assigned to see the black and the white, I would have already had that set up due to the fact that Travis Scott is black. Because if I'm thinking in that mentality and I'm thinking I don't like that certain group, somebody like that in that position of that influence, his event, I know his people's going to be there, or I'm assuming his people's going to be there. So I'm going to be thinking it still... I don't know. That's
not necessarily. Like, they know who he attracts.
Like I know, but at the same time, he a trippy kind of dude. You get what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
The demographic. It's for the white.
Yeah, Travis has a sound that everybody, because
it's both to me. I get what you're saying. It's a big mix with me. I seen the mix, but I get it. I know you've been there. You get what I'm saying?
But it's a white.
You partially prove my point, but I get it.
I'm telling you from firsthand experience.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like I said, each artist brings in their own demographic of people. It gets facilitated, and you see, like, a lot of kids like his music. That's why there are some kids at the event.
Yeah. All right, so I think everybody said what they could about Travis. Travis stands, please don't come at us. Just giving our opinions.
Yeah, come for me.
Jeffrey will be right with you guys. Well, but for future concerts though, definitely. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, there's going to be a huge dynamic shift.
Avoid huge crowds.
Like I said,
well, that's the thing. It's a concert.
Stay hydrated. Yeah. If you ever go to a concert, festival,
stay hydrated.
Definitely.
But it's in terms of knowing that it's properly staffed for security reasons and whatnot. The crowd also plays a role as well.
The crowd does, yes, but is it your job as a crowd to hold also accountable? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a bunch of grown men and women at the end of the day. No, that's a bunch of grown men and women at the end of the day.
Hold on. Yes, you said grown men and women at the same time. There was kids.
Yes.
No, that don't even matter.
Malik.
Not a lot.
Hold on. All right.
Mostly adults.
The bottom line of what you're getting at, you're talking about all the adults and all the young adults that didn't control themselves and wild out, that caused everything to get in the disarray that got to in the first place.
Yeah.
The main thought that I was also going to get at before we really closed out is going back to your point. You made a joke about Travis fans don't come at us, but at the same time too, after the events that played out at the concert, there's a lot of heads at Travis and a lot of Travis fans right now. So if anything, we will hope that nobody's too mad at the Travis fans or people who have the same opinion like you have. If I was thinking it, because right now, like I said before, he's in a very hot seat right now because of this concert. We just had the discussion.
I'm not going to making that joke because, like I said, man, I went to Dave and Buster's after. Clearly.
But back to my point, there's a lot of people who's not seeing it the way that Jeffrey's seeing it and saying, look, he could have did something about it. He didn't do enough about it. He let too much go down. He let too much take place. If anything, because of this, he lost a lot of fans. He lost a lot of respect. He lost a lot of revenue, and he got a lot of people looking at him with a side eye. So,
his comeback.
So there's definitely
you got the people that's basically making the whole memes of for instance, Linkin Park, where at least shut the whole thing down, saying let that. What was it?
Little Pump again?
No,
Little Pump did that too.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing him up.
It was like Simba and his dad.
Oh my god!
The show is over.
Oh my god!
I didn't see that one.
Nah, it is. But yeah, so you're seeing the responsibility of the performer, but also the organizers as well, and the roles that everybody has to play to make sure the event executes to the best of its ability, of course. Because the safety of the crowd is how they keep making money. Crowd ain't safe, ain't nobody gonna show up again.
Right.
Trust me, especially. People gonna be like, Travis Festival, my man about to get nobody. Like, hey, I ain't trying to go there and die.
That's never gonna happen.
For now,
for now, there's never gonna be another Astroworld.
I don't know how he's gonna recoup this. Yeah, it's terrible.
That brand of he might do another festival. That brand of festival is dead. Like,
I wouldn't. If I was in that marketing type of company, I would not do that again.
It's crazy though, because he had something like that going on for 3 years, and now it's just dead.
It's not really. He made more than enough money. This is an album.
That
came out 3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how like a festival for the same album.
That's why it's crazy. He had a festival for something that was concurrent for 3 years, and then it just got disney.
Listen, if an album is 3 years old and they're able to do something like that, that's how you know the album has some type of fame to it.
But then obviously
that album got fame to it, bro. That album hold weight. He's doing all that,
exactly.
That album holds weight.
Every year the festival got bigger and bigger, so
because his popularity
able to keep making the same, probably more money every year. Like this
off that one album.
Yeah, exactly.
And then who else featured on the album with him?
Drake was on the stage.
Drake was there.
Aside from Drake.
A couple of the. I don't know all the other artists in my mind. Yeah, but Drake is obviously I was a big focal.
Oh, so there's more artists. I'm gonna hope Drake is the one being flamed
because Drake, he was on the stage with him. And remember,
but no other artist was there too.
No, Drake was on stage for a lot of the
after that whole chaos and everything went down. Travis went to Dave and Buster's, had the after party with him.
No, I think it's more because Drake was on stage for a lot of the videos that were leaked that first Saturday afterwards. It was Travis and Drake on stage while there were people saying people are dying here.
Yeah,
right.
People are dying, and then you see Drake and Travis.
Drake just turning up. Drake can save himself. He is getting sued. He can save himself because he'd be like, it was Travis's.
And then I feel the reason like Kylie and stuff said something was because of the after party and hanging out after.
Yeah, it's just a bad. It's a mega bad look.
And then that's just touching the Kardashian brand, which is the whole other conglomerate in itself.
Nah,
and then if you get Kim throwing sympathy, that just it'll help Travis, which just in turn helps their whole.
But honestly,
it helps his PR.
It's a conglomerate.
But
like it's a company.
All jokes aside, if I was them, I wouldn't even chimed in and said nothing in the first place because with something going down like that, people's lives lost. Those victims, those families, all those friends, and all those people who cared and supported, they don't want to hear, Travis said he was sorry. That's not a good look.
No.
So you speaking out for him because of the disaster that happened. You standing up there saying he said he was sorry is not really going to do much for your image either.
Right. You want to
hear
from
anything, it look like you support it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's what they did, but from the people who suffer from that, or from the people who's outraged from it, it looked like you're supporting the catastrophe that went down. Just to speak for someone like that. Like if I screwed up, let me screw up on my own. But I'm not saying beat me with a bat while I'm already on the floor. But it's kind of like not something you want to get involved with if you don't have to.
I'm in agreement with that.
At least not in that degree.
Yeah.
You can speak and say, I think it was bad what happened. I don't think he meant it like that. But don't apologize for the man. That right there,
to me, that's just saying that the man doesn't want to apologize for his own self.
I mean, he did.
Well, he did.
It's
he
just,
did.
There's
a video of the apology.
No, I know.
Shaky apology.
Yeah,
but if you would get someone who didn't see his apology. And then he's seeing like Kim Kardashian. I don't know which one.
Like I said, he's just it's just
seeing
seeing support in terms of aiding Travis in this type of situation. Of course, that's pretty much what it is. Just them showing support towards him in the scenario.
Yeah, I think there's like I said before, it's too much money at stake when
a lot
they're losing Travis.
That's
we gotta put the money.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just think there's just too much money at stake when they're like doing that stuff. Like that's where I feel the support really is rooted in from them.
Okay.
Right, then. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we said our points already. No need to repeat ourselves. So, real quick, don't forget to like and subscribe. Always leave your comments. Tell us what you think. Again, please don't come after us.
Definitely have an update when we get more information because this thing is big.
Oh, by the way, Jeffrey lied in the beginning, so let's keep our subscribers. Please don't leave because Monica is.
Oh my god.
Also, Jeffrey, please tell the audience where you got your lovely socks.
It was a gift from my friend. She was doing a study abroad in Berlin, Germany, and she brought me back these socks, a piece of chocolate, and a lighter that said Berlin on it.
Okay, I need
German chocolate
and German socks. Look at that. German engineering, everybody.
I didn't, Donte. You know what to do.
You still got that chocolate?
I actually do. I don't ever eat it. It's just sitting with the lighter.
So I want to pitch
I'll
it.
try a piece of that.
Let me see what I can find. It might be a little old. Like a lot old.
Alright.
It depends on how old is the chocolate.
Couple of years, man. You don't want this chocolate.
Yeah, nah, that's all you, bro.
You don't want it.
Not all.
That's all you, bro.
Grab
everything, bro.
No, nobody wants no moldy chocolate.
But you wait.
Somebody may be off the market, but Malik is on the market. So if y'all wanna
send your chocolate,
get out of here.
He's available.
Don't listen to this man in red.
Give him all your chocolate. He takes dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate. Don't matter.
Use this.